Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Winter is over, spring is here, and I want to talk about what I read in February. This month we have 4 books to get through, so let's get started. And remember that if you like this video, make sure to subscribe as I make videos talking about books and shows. The first book that I read in February is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is an adult fantasy centered around discussions of colonialism and racism. Main character Robin Swift is taken from his home in China to England to study the depths and intricate nature of language itself, to one day attend Oxford University's prestigious translation institute, Babel. Babel is the center of translation in the British Empire and is where the creation and use of magical silver bars is held. This magic silver, fueled by the power of translating words, is used in pretty much everything that powers the Empire and their way of life. Powering electricity, keeping buildings safe and stable, advancing weapons for the military, all of it. Everything you can think of. When Robin discovers that the magic of translation and silver working will be used to start an unjust war with his homeland of China, he must make a choice. Either stay quiet and continue working for the Empire because it's safe and provides him with a life of luxury, or join the secretive Hermes Society and fight to bring down the Empire and stop the suffering inflicted around the world. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I really loved this book. And let me say first that yes, all the white people on Instagram and TikTok whining and crying about this book's subject matter and saying that they're like, oh, it makes me feel bad, blah, 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 and saying like they feel attacked. Yeah, they're just racist, plain and simple. The story is great, and I liked how it ended on a tragic yet hopeful note. I mean, I remember studying the Opium Wars in history class, so I knew the revolution was going to fail, but the author does find a way to end things with some hope for the future, so that's cool. I like that. I found the characters realistic, complex, and likable and unlikable for all the right reasons. I loved following Robin and his friends Rami, Letty, and Victoire through the years and was crushed, but not surprised, when their friend group ultimately got obliterated. The magic system was very interesting and very original. Like, I can't name any other series where translation fuels the magic, so points for originality and creativity. And the discussion about colonization and racism that this book has was very good and very interesting. Overall, I just really loved the story, characters, writing, and narration since I did read this on audio. I will say the audiobook does have some issues with the sound mixing and editing that are very noticeable, but it isn't anything that takes you out of the story, and the narrators themselves gave very good performances. So, overall, I really loved this. Next up, I read Ruin and Rising by Lee Bardugo. This is the third and final book in the Gracia trilogy. After a crippling defeat at the end of the second book, Alina Starkov is more desperate than ever to find a way to defeat the Darkling and save her people. With her friends and allies close at hand, she chases after the Firebird, the mythical third amplifier that is said to juice up her powers to godlike strength so she can finally has a chance of winning this war. Time is of the essence as Alina discovers new secrets about Grisha magic and the Darkling's past, and as her allies are tortured, transformed, and killed as the Darkling's power over Ravka grows. But when the time for true sacrifice comes, Alina must decide if she is willing to throw everything and everyone she has loved away in order to save the world and herself. I liked it. It was fun. I didn't really like the major plot twist, though it makes sense if I squint a little bit. The ending was fine and decently satisfactory. Yeah, looking forward to the new season of the Netflix show, but I have no idea how they're going to combine 2 books and make a new side plot for the Crows to all fit in and work in like 8 episodes. So yeah. Now for the spoiler section. I did not like the twist with Mal being the third amplifier instead of the Firebird and him being a descendant of Morozova. It just threw everything we knew about the story off the rails in the final 100 pages of the series, and while I can see it making sense if I like squint a little bit, I just didn't like it. Sure, I guess the process of making amplifiers can work on mortal humans the same way it does Beast of Myth. Sure, I guess the amplifier power can be passed down to descendants until it's used, though does that mean the stag and sea whips are actually famous beasts, or are they just a random deer and fish that had the amplifier power passed down to them from an ancestor? Like, dunno. But I don't really feel like the twist about Mal being an amplifier and that's why he's such a great tracker was needed. I mean, yeah, I always thought something magical helped him be a great tracker, but I could have also just believed he was naturally tuned into nature, because, like, some people are just like that. I also would have liked to see the Darkling and Apparat do more in this book. With the Darkling, I still like him best in the first book, just because he was very involved in the plot in Shadow and Bone. But with Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising, he's just a distant threat for the most part that occasionally taunts Alina through the Force and creates havoc with a battle at times. And when there is a battle, he just sends his shadow minions to do all the fighting while he stands around looking pretty. And I probably wouldn't think much of it if him and Alina had finally duked it out in the final battle on the Fold. But they barely interacted before she stabbed him and killed him. It was just underwhelming, to say the least. And then for the Apparat, while I'm not disappointed in his lackluster role like I am the Darkling because I just find him creepy, I do wish more had been done with the priest. I mean, we get hints all throughout books 1 and 2 that he'll eventually play a more important role in the story, like at some point, but then he just holds Alina hostage in a church for like the first 3 to 4 chapters and then is never heard from again. Like, come on. The ending I thought was nice, though, and satisfying. The twist of bringing the amplifiers together, causing Alina to be stripped of her Sun Summoner abilities and it to be passed on to mortals that previously didn't have any magic, was cool. I was actually surprised when she killed Mal and would have liked for him to have stayed dead, but it's YA, so we have to have a happy ending for the love interest. Then her and him ultimately living a quiet life and opening an orphanage together made perfect sense and was a nice full circle moment to where everything began for them. A part of me is always going to wish Alina had kept her powers and become an unstoppable god and lived in the palace ruling Ravka, because I'm always here for characters obtaining unlimited power and for dramatics. But I do think the ending we got was a better choice and made more sense for who she is. Side note though, what exactly is the timeline for this trilogy? Because I thought the series took place over 2 to 3 years, but then she kept saying, it's only been a year, it's only been a year. And I cannot figure out how the first 2 books have several sections where like months and months pass, and then even more months pass in this book, and it somehow only be 1 year. I don't know. A little tangent on the side, but yeah, I mean, I liked it overall. I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars. I do think it's my least favorite out of the trilogy. I do think Shadow and Bone is still my favorite. So yeah, the first book is my favorite, then the second book, and then the third book is my least favorite. So, but I mean, I still like the series overall, and I do want to get the Six of Crows duology soon. So yeah. Next is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I read this on audiobook also. This is about the son of the US president falling in love with the Prince of England. It revolves around these two famous guys falling for each other while trying to keep things secret because, one, it's presidential election year in the US, and the first son being bi could potentially cost his mother her reelection. And two, if the royal family finds out that one of their own is gay, they'd unleash all hell upon him. That's what this is about. I really loved it. I loved this book, okay? I'm low key in my romance era, so I love cute stories like this, especially when they're queer. And I really liked the political stuff all throughout the book and that the stakes actually seemed believable, which was nice. I love the two main guys, Alex and Henry, and honestly wish we'd gotten some POV chapters from Henry. I would have loved to see what was going on with the royal family during a lot of the events. And many of the side characters were lovely also. I really liked the friend, the sisters, Alex's mom. I just loved everyone. Well, most everyone, except for like the rude homophobic people. But we're not supposed to like them. Anyway, the third act, when their relationship gets exposed into the world and good and bad opinions start flying in from the US government, the royal family, the media, the public, etc. The third act did fly off into unrealistic territory with how things were like handled, but honestly, I don't care because I just want a happy ending to a queer story right now, especially with all the harmful legislation being passed in the US currently. Like, yeah, I just want a happy ending. Is it a literary masterpiece? No, but it's very cute, fun, and quite funny, which is exactly what I want out of a romance book, and I had a lot of fun reading this. And the final book that I read in February is Legend by Marie Lu. Set in a dystopian version of Los Angeles, the United States is divided into civil war between the tyrannical republic, aka the Midwest and West side of the country, and the colonies, aka what's left of the East side after apocalyptic natural disasters. While a mutating disease known as the plague spreads throughout everywhere. You follow two kids, June, a brilliant prodigy and an up and coming star within the Republic's military and spy system, and Day, a cunning street criminal that commits acts of rebellion against the Republic and wants to keep his family safe. When June's brother is murdered, Day is the prime suspect and she is sent to go hunt him down and capture him. However, along the way, the two of them develop a connection and decide to team up and figure out the dark truths of the evil Republic that are kept secret from everyone except those in power. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so my mother got this for me last year, and I decided to finally read it because I want things that are like short and or easy to read right now because I'm swamped with rehearsals for two upcoming plays that I'm in. Here's the thing with this book. If I was the target demographic, aka 13 to 15-year-olds, I would eat this up. Like, if I was back in my Hunger Games era when I was 15, I would be obsessed with this and it would be a favorite of the year. However, However, I'm 21 now, so I just laugh at these children and keep thinking, be fucking serious, as they keep being the bestest, most special, most unique, most daring, brilliant kids ever and outsmarting trained professional adults that have been working for the highly militaristic government for years. Like, you're telling me that a 15-year-old girl is so brilliant and amazing that she can skip 2 to 3 grades, impresses a high ranking government agent enough to graduate her even earlier and get her excused from final exams, and then does so well on her very first mission for the government that she becomes a high ranking agent within a month and the president is throwing a ball for her? And you're telling me that this 15-year-old boy has been blowing up military camps and stopping war and imperialization efforts all on his own since he was 10 and is so stealthy and cunning that the government has no idea what he even looks like, so it's almost impossible to catch him? Be so serious, please. Having said that, is it bad? No. Sure, I'll laugh, but at the end of the day, it isn't written for me. It's not written for me. And I actually think it's great for the audience that it's intended for, that being preteens and young teenagers. It's very early 2010s in its plot, writing, characters, and world, I will say that. But honestly, it's a great addition to the teen dystopian genre that was very popular back then. And quite frankly, I'm surprised it wasn't one of like the 5 billion book series that was greenlit for a movie adaptation during that time. Cause it seems better than a lot of other books that were adapted, like Divergent or The Fifth Wave. So yeah, I mean, can I take it seriously? No. But is it bad? Also no. Like for the audience that it's written for, I think it's actually very good and very interesting. My mother also got me the sequel, Prodigy, when she got me this one, and yeah, I'll read it coming up because this did hold my attention and was pretty easy to read, so I expect the same from the other 2 or 3 books in this series. So yeah. But now, what am I reading in March? Honestly, March is kind of a wild card for me since I'm in a musical that is about to begin that I still need to strengthen my understanding of the choreo and songs for, and then another show is coming up that I need to memorize like 300 lines for, so I'm not really looking for like long books, which is a problem because the ones that I really want to get to are thick. Like I really want to get back to the third book in the Ember and Ashes series, but that book is thick, so I'm kind of want to put that one off a little bit. I think I'm gonna pick up Crazy Rich Asians after it has been sitting and collecting dust in my room since like 2018. I think I'm finally gonna read that. I really like the movie, so yeah, I think I'm gonna read that. If I finish that before the month ends, I'll probably pick up Prodigy since the first one only took a week to read, so this will probably more or less take the same amount of time. My Audible credit, I have no idea what to spend it on, but there's a billion things saved on my Goodreads list, so it won't be that hard to find something. And I mean, you'll find out next month what I do pick for Audible, so yeah. But yeah, that's what I read in February. If you enjoyed this video, then remember to subscribe and hit the like button because I post videos about books and shows pretty regularly. Tell me in the comments what you read this month or what your thoughts on any of these books are if you've read them. I'll talk to you later. Bye.